I have been wanting to do this video for about 2 months now, so I apologize for the delay. The last time I did this video, it was about a year ago, which is crazy because so much has changed. So I put up a post on Instagram asking if you needed any advice, college stuff, life stuff, career stuff. I'm not a huge expert or anything, but I love to give the advice that I've learned so far. So really excited to answer your questions. Let's get started. So one of the first questions is, how did you get an agent? Ooh. So, okay, I moved to LA in 2014. I did not move with an agent. I didn't even move with a job, but that's a whole other story for a whole nother time. When it was time for me to look for an agent, about 2 years into it, maybe a year and a half, I went to a bookstore, got this specialty book right here, which says An Actor's Guide to Agents in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I'm not necessarily just looking for an acting agent. I was looking for a hosting agent as well. So in this, I was able to skim through and find, okay, who works for what I'm doing? There are also people that represent people for commercials, for writing, for so many other different things, for comedy. So I found one of these books, I looked through it, I sent over 100 emails, and I got 5 responses. Now I have an agent. Little advice on the whole agent thing. Just because you have an agent, it doesn't mean that your work stops. The hustle does not stop. In fact, you're hustling even harder because you're trying to get your agent to understand what's going on, other people to understand what's going on. You want to make sure you're at the top of your game. So an agent doesn't necessarily mean that you get to chill and relax and kind of just have them send you out. No, you're proving to them that you are worth it. So you got to work twice as hard. You got to keep putting yourself out there. Just remember, having an agent is an incredible thing, incredible way to continue to elevate, but you got to do the work yourself too. Okay, next question. LA seems to be a who you know type of city. What is your advice for networking and making connections to know the right people when you're new to the city and don't know anyone? Love this question. Totally understand this question. So I also have another networking video that I've done before. It's going to be on the page. I'll leave the link below. LA is what you make it. Every city is what you make it. Life is what you make it. So yes, the city does have the stench of, you know, networking and who you know and just knowing the right people. That's very true. But I've lived here for almost 3 years, and truthfully, God has been so beautiful in the people that He's directed in my path and the people that He's put around me, because I truly believe in genuine relationships. That's really the key to networking, guys. The art of finessing is genuine relationship. Be genuine to people, be kind to people, be real with people. When you hear networking, you hear business cards, resumes, blah, blah, blah. But it's not just, hey, what project are you working with? It's, oh my gosh, where did you get those shoes and when can we go shopping? Because we have social media, there's so many different ways to build relationships. You can tweet people, you can comment, you can DM now. I mean, you can do it all. So I think if you are trying to network with specific people, maybe specific jobs, reach out, show them your stuff. Make sure you're sending what you're working on and saying, hey, I would love your critiques, your feedback. I admire your work and I would love to hear what you have to say. You know, tell people how much you admire them as well so that they come back and be like, I admire you too. There's this mutual love that I feel like is the key to relationships. I know it's hard when you don't know anybody. I would try to reach out to people before you get moved to a different city, if it's LA or any other city. When I came here, I knew about 3 people. And what's funny is all 3 of them moved to New York. You know who you are. So I love them so much, but they all moved like a year after I got here. So yeah, it was a lot of figuring out and learning people, but I use social media. I went out. This past 6 months in my life has been the 6 months of yes. If people ask me to go out to different lunches, to brunches, to events, to meet up with different people, I'm going out. I'm gonna do it because it expands your network and it's more people who can talk about you. Next question. Is pursuing a master's degree in journalism pertinent to hosting interviewing? I know you either have it or you don't, but how much education do you feel is required to complement your God-given talent? I went to University of Missouri for my undergrad. I have not gotten a master's degree, and I remember my last year I was really struggling with this. I was asking all my professors, do they feel like I should have gotten a degree? And some said yes and some said no. I ended up choosing no. For me, getting a master's in journalism wasn't necessary because I felt like I had learned so much at Mizzou that I was ready to kind of put it to the test. That's not everybody's story. I have one friend in particular, it took her 2 years, she got a master's, now she's at CNN. So it's definitely different for different people. For me, I needed to be in the field and working and seeing it up close. I needed to be touching it, I need to be experiencing it, making my mistakes. What's your learning style? Do you feel like you need an extra 1.5 years or 2 years in a program really learning, or do you feel like you want to be out there with your feet wet? Because to me, both are definitely valuable experiences. There's no one way to do it. When it comes to education that complements your God-given talent, which is so beautiful, I would say that even if you don't go get a full master's degree, taking classes, taking improv classes, taking hosting classes, having different hosting coaches, studying teleprompters, studying scripts, that's all a form of education. And those are things you can do on your own. So, and that's why I say that for me, going to get a master's degree wasn't necessary. I came out here and learned in a different way. I learned from different people. I studied different hosts. I studied shows. I studied scripts. I studied teleprompters. I studied it all, and I'm still studying. So I think for me, there's a different way to get that hands-on experience without getting your master's degree. So hope that helps. Next question, how do you drop it low? Next question. That's one of my friends, by the way. I'm done with you. Next question. Honestly, in today's age, it's so different to make a name when so many people are in the field. Do you recommend the education interning route or to just throw yourself into the spotlight in a different manner and pursue your goal? Well, we actually just kind of talked about this in the last question, but to continue that, I feel like the interning route is a great route. I had my first internship a sophomore year of college. It was actually in public relations because I wanted to see if I liked public relations or if I wanted to continue in that field. I do like it, but I preferred broadcast to that instead. So that's what I ended up doing. I know it seems so hard to stand out and to be the one that gets a certain job, or how do you stand out in a room, whatever the case is. I totally get that. But truthfully, I feel like there's not just one person. There's so many of us, and we all have something different to contribute. It's all about your specific brand and what you bring to the table. Sometimes when you hear the word branding, it's like, I don't want to hear it anymore. But branding is not only deciding who you are, but it's deciding who you're not. So if you kind of know, these are the things I want to do, and these are the things I definitely don't want to do, these are things I definitely am not willing to try, you kind of get closer to cultivating who you are and what you bring to the table. When it comes to standing out, truthfully, you just cannot worry about everybody else. I know we're in this culture right now where we're all looking at each other's grind and we're watching each other's hustle. Sometimes you got to watch from afar though. If you feel like it's affecting you in the way that you don't feel like what you bring to the table is just as important as what they bring to the table, then step away for a second. You got to delete Facebook, delete Instagram, undo Snap for a second. Do what you have to do to make sure that you're cultivating who you are and you know how strong your brand is and what you bring to the table that's special and different from other people. Because I know we feel like there's so many versions of everybody. And you're right, there are. But everybody has one thing. Everybody. So what's yours? How did you get a mentor in your field? One of my mentors, I actually met her at my university. She came to speak and I was literally in awe. Her name is Kiana Burns. You are amazing. She came to speak, and so when she was done, mind you, she's a producer and I'm in broadcast, but her as a person was so bomb.com that I had to just learn from her and know her and whatever. So when she was done speaking, I ran after her because I'm a little crazy. I was like, I love you. I just want to send my stuff to you and learn from you. Is that okay? And she was like, yeah, it's cool. And we've just kept in touch ever since, and giving me advice about my progress and giving me encouragement, giving me a push sometimes. And it's really awesome to have somebody like that in the field who doesn't even necessarily do exactly what you do, but you can still learn from them. Some of my other mentors, I was also introduced to them through people in college. Yvette Brown, Amy Paffrath, people that I really, really look up to and love. I don't even know if they realize how much I consider them mentors. I think they know, but truthfully, you guys are so awesome. One I met on Twitter, one I met through a professor. There's so many different ways to meet people, and you know, I'm still looking for more mentors because I love to learn. I love to be poured into so that I can pour into other people. I think it's about who's in your field that you can look up, you can link with, go through LinkedIn, go through Facebook, ask a referral. Alrighty. Next question is, how do you find red carpet events and apply to be a host or audition? Ooh, okay, so this is interesting. I feel like when I first got here, again, social media was my best friend. When I wanted to audition or work with different companies, it didn't always work. I would try to tweet them my work. I would try to tweet them my reel, say, hey, can I get an email to send over a resume? So sometimes that worked. I also used LinkedIn. I used a lot of different websites, entertainmentcareers.com. I used Facebook groups. I asked around. A lot of the jobs I've gotten have been referral based. So when it comes to trust, it's very, very important that people trust you, not only just in what you do, but in who you are. They want to be around you. They want to learn from you. They want you to be around other people that they know. That's important. When it comes to auditions, some auditions I wasn't able to access until I got my agent, and some I was. Again, they were referred to me, or I was doing some research. I would get on some of those websites I mentioned before and get an account and just be searching every day. If you do that, submit yourself. Submit. Put yourself out there as much as you can, because again, like I said, having an agent isn't just the only way to go. There's so many different ways. It starts with you doing the work. I wish I had some long sentence about why things have changed for me so much in the past year, but truthfully, it has all been about timing. God's timing is the best time, guys. I am now in a space that I'm more qualified and more equipped to do certain jobs than I was a year ago. Last year, I probably thought, oh, I could do it all. But I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the resources, and I didn't have the experience. Now I have a little bit more experience, a little bit more knowledge. There, you keep growing, you keep getting better. So we want to rush our process and we want to rush our hustle, but truthfully, we've got to be in tune with God's timing. We've got to understand that we need those experiences to help us grow and to help us be better. So in where you are right now, what can you do? What can you create? What can you put out there? Who can you collab with? What can you work on? Who can you email? All of those things is where are you right now? Tune into where you are right now. Don't over rush. Don't feel like you got to run 100 miles a minute. Relax. Take in where you are right now. And honestly, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm giving myself advice too, because we do this all the time. One day we feel super content. The next day we're freaking out. And I do the same. It's all about preparation meeting opportunity. And truthfully, I've been living by this quote: do not compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. They've been in the game longer. So don't ever think that, oh, this is how their career looks, so it's got to be what mine looks like. Create what you want. Put yourself in situations where this is what I want to grow in. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes it's going to not be the right situation, but you got to learn and you got to keep going. I really hope this helps. Thank you guys so much for your questions and for your emails and for everything. Please keep them coming. I will definitely do a part 2 if necessary. So if you have any other questions that I wasn't able to answer in this video, I'll do another video and hopefully I can answer those questions as well. Lots of love. I know it's the holiday season, so I'm sending love and light to everyone. Keep your head up. You're fabulous. Talk to you very soon.